Hey guys, how are you today? Quick rant before we dive into today's chaos. As some of you might have noticed, YouTube's algorithm has decided I'm not special anymore. Shocking, I know. So now if you don't like, comment, or do a little backflip in the algorithm's honor, this video might just vanish into the void, never to be seen again. Seriously though, even a hi or "this is wild" in the comments helps way more than you think. It tells YouTube, hey, people actually like this channel. Maybe don't hide it from everyone. That can really help push my videos out to a wider audience, not just to my subscribers. So if you enjoy these stories and want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Now grab a drink, get comfy, and enjoy the drama. You won't want to miss this one.
My sister died 6 years ago. She was married to James and had Luca, now 14 male, Megan, now 12 female, and Dante, now 11 male. After my sister died, James turned on me and my family. I don't think James liked my sister much in the last few years of their marriage. He seemed to really grow to hate her. I had that vibe for a couple of years before she died, but especially after. He was just so callous and told me he was free from her at last, that she should have known he didn't want to be with her anymore and really set him free. I think he never left because of the kids, but he has said he is glad she's dead. He could find real love. He could find someone better. Just talks trash about my sister, and it's disgusting. He never said anything to her while she was alive and they were married. He met his wife 13 months after my sister died, and they got married 4 years ago. She has a 7-year-old son and 2 kids with James. We are not a big blended family. My parents and I see nephews and niece with visitation granted by the courts after he tried to cut us off, but that's where it ends. We see them 1 weekend a month and for a certain amount of time at Christmas and near their birthdays. Their stepmother has complained before about us not including her kids with my nephews and niece. Her biggest problem is we have a special birthday cake that we make in our family, and we make it for each member of the family every year. Every member gets it. The kids have helped us bake it too. She knows about this. She has seen photos. She wants us to make it for her kids and to include them in the tradition. My parents and siblings have said no. So have I. One day she called me using Luca's phone and told me as the mother of my nephews and niece, I should share with her kids. I told her she's their stepmother, and her kids are not my problem. I want to add here that the kids are aware of how much their dad resented their mom. It made their relationship tricky. It has also made their relationship with their stepmother pretty bad too. They see how badly they want their mom to cease to exist, even in their memories, and they hate her for that, and they don't know how to feel about him. Their stepmother is pissed at me for hurting young kids. I know Luca has mentioned that his stepbrother does seem to know more about what happens when he and his siblings are with our family, and he said he does feel left out. He thinks his dad and stepmother are talking about it around the other kids. He told me he kind of feels bad, but he also doesn't want them intruding on the family. He said his stepmother would only use her kids as a spy. Megan said her step-and-half siblings don't belong in our family, and her stepmother proves that when she acts the way she does. But I feel bad that younger kids are being hurt by this, even if it's the other adults doing this. Am I the a-hole? Cheese and rice. I feel so sorry for your nephews and niece. They lost their mom, and their dad goes out of his way to let them know how much he hates her. Him and his wife want to act like she never existed. If she never existed, the kids wouldn't be here. He actually said he's glad she's dead, and his kids are picking up on that. He's a sick individual. It's not your job to welcome your former brother-in-law's new wife's children into your home, especially with how gross and spiteful they act towards your sister's memory. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. It's telling that you had to go to court just to see your niece and nephew. I have a feeling that when they turn 18, they will come running to you and your family the first chance they get. Keep the line open for them, OP. Also, the stepkids are not your problem. If they were willing to include you from the beginning, then it might be a different matter. But I personally believe she's trying to weaponize her kids against you and the other kids. Keep doing what you're doing, and everything should turn out fine. Not the a-hole. My parents divorced when I was 12, and my father married the woman he cheated on my mom with. I found out that she had called my mom while they were still married and said something along the lines of, "He's mine now. Screw your family. I don't care how your kids will be affected by this. I'm worried about mine." It really hurt and put a huge wedge between my father and I, who started his new family and kind of treated us like we weren't as important as his new family. I've watched him help my half and stepbrothers financially while I was struggling. call himself, my stepmom, and half-brothers the core four of the family. Just a lot of hurtful stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with you making your nieces and nephews feel included and cared for, especially when they are aware of how much their father and stepmother resent your sister and disrespect her memory. You don't owe the stepmom, her kids, or James anything. The things he has said to you about your sister are pretty reprehensible in my opinion, and are definitely not things you say to your wife who is just past sister. I hope these poor kids can find some comfort in spending time with your side of the family, because I'm sure they go through a lot of emotions having lost their mother and now dealing with their father and stepmother. I'm new to this, so bear with me. I, 17 female, have had separated parents since I was 7. When I was 11, my dad married my current stepmom. Things were already kind of tough before they were married. She was always controlling, and when they had their son, she became even worse. While I've learned to deal with her controlling behavior and such, I can't help but feel she and my father both have proclaimed my half-brother their favorite. I didn't really ever mind so much. He was their kid. We were only my dad's. However, this was my last Christmas I'm going to be forced to visit them. We gathered in the morning for presents, and as my cousin passed out presents, mine and my 2 other biological siblings all had around 6 presents. My half-brother had 20. Again, I didn't care about the amount. It's Christmas, and whatever we get, I'm going to be grateful for. Things only got frustrating for me when my half-brother started dancing around the house announcing the fact that he had more presents than anyone else. My younger brother, 14, has never been one to deal with it all that well and got annoyed. Told my half-brother to stop bragging, and then got scolded for being mean to his brother on Christmas morning. I was so upset that he got in trouble for that. Anyways, come the day after Christmas, and more family arrives. We do a second Christmas, and one of my stepmom's sisters hands us a present. Half-brother complains until she hands him a present, and then gloats when my stepmother's other sister hands him a gift but not us. Again, I get that he is their biological son, but I mean she handed him $50 right in front of our faces. Anyways, later on that night I'm reading a book on the couch, and my stepmom tells me to load the dishwasher, and I comply. She gets easily angry and often takes my phone if I don't do what she asks. While we do our separate things in silence, my half-brother comes in showing off his $145 cash in his wallet. He was talking to me and said, "My parents are rich. Now I'm rich. You'll never be like me." I took that as a direct insult to me and my mother. I told him to be nice, and that was a messed up thing to say. My stepmom scolded me and said I'm too grown up to be picking on a little boy. Like, what? Anyways, I blew up on her and said I was sick and tired of the blatant favoritism in this family and that I couldn't wait to turn 18 and leave this hellhole forever. She started crying, and my dad walked in, immediately calling me an a-hole for hurting her feelings. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole at all. Obviously, your family is toxic, and it is great this will be your last Christmas with them. Tell your siblings that they just have to wait until they turn 18, and then they will have their freedom. Your dad and stepmom have not done your half-brother any favors. His time is coming, when he is unable to make friends and develop relationships based on his obnoxious behavior. He will feel the brunt of his lack of parenting. Not the a-hole. They say you're the a-hole because you're right, and it paints them as exactly what they are, a-holes. Just his behavior alone shows you exactly how they treat him. He will more than likely turn out to be nothing but an entitled mooch. I hope this year goes fast for you. Update. I'm going to give an update and also give some info I may have missed in my previous post. First off, I never clarified that my half-brother, Dudley, is in fact 8. My dad and stepmom were married about 2 years after they had him. Second, my stepmom, Petunia as you all would call her, has always been controlling and forced us to do chores, put our phones in another room at night, made rude comments on my appearance, i.e. makeup, weight, etc., and also has constantly made fun of my siblings' weight or hobbies or such. She's an awful person and has always treated us like crap. When her son was born, her favoritism for him was just another way to get at us. Third, my mom and I have tried to talk with courts and with my father in general. It's always gone bad, and my mom ends up feeling like it's all her fault and drained of her money, which is why I haven't tried to go back to court. I hate doing that to my mom. When I turn 18, I have more of a say in court. Fourth, some of you seem to think I was upset over the presents amount. While I did include that, It was an example of how my half-brother acts with privileges like this, and I could care less about the amount. My younger bio bro was hurt, and I was obviously upset about that. This is not an issue I'm furious over, and I would just like to add that I do not view my half-brother as the source of the problem. I include what he taunts and says because that shows how he's been raised, and shows what happens when I'm the one who gets in trouble. Fifth, there were a few comments who said that it was logical to have favoritism from the stepmom to the half-brother. I guess I didn't really clarify, but the favoritism is frustrating to me from both her and my father. She just happened to be the one who I snapped at. I get he's her bio kid, but my father is bio father, and he needs to not have that favoritism. But, per usual, follows whatever the hell my stepmom does. He's her puppet on her strings. Okay, I think that's it. On to the update. Now that I've been home for a week, I finally brought up the confrontation with my mom. She was obviously proud that I'd finally stood up for myself, considering every time she said something on our behalf to my dad, she was told she was lying. I explained everything and she was practically fuming, but once again, so happy I'd finally said something. This morning, she organized a potential court date, but wanted me to be the one to tell my dad before he finds out from anyone else. So I called my dad literally 30 minutes ago or so, and basically told him how emotionally damaged I was from the years I've spent with him and Petunia. I told him they needed to fix their behavior if they wanted to keep a relationship with me or my siblings. I told him we could even see a counselor. I told him that if he chooses not to do anything, we will all go no contact the minute we turn 18. This was thanks to one of you giving me the ABC options. He blew up on me, cursing me and saying I wasn't the daughter he raised me to be. But I mean, thank God. Otherwise, I might be Dudley 2.0. Anyways, needless to say, the court date will happen, and my dad will hopefully see what he's done to his children. My parents were 16 and 17 when they got together, having my brother a year into their relationship, then me 4 years into their relationship, and then my younger brother. For some reason that only my father knows, 24 years into their relationship, he decided he was bored and started a relationship with my stepmother. They decided to move away. My father visited every so often with stepmother, but a week before my 24th, my sister, Hannah, was born. For the first year of Hannah's life, I had been spammed with photographs of her, which then stopped when I had my son and my father resumed visiting. Hannah wasn't allowed to visit, stepmother saying she was too young, and by now, she's 13, so I think it's her choice not to visit. Not that I'm complaining. I hadn't planned on marrying, but 2 children later, my partner decided that they wanted a wedding. I invited my father, knowing my stepmother wouldn't be interested in coming, which my father confirmed. Father told me that Hannah wanted to tag along. I said it's a child-free wedding, to which he said she's 13 turning 14. Still a child to me. He asked if she'd be allowed to visit and stay home the day of the wedding. I said no, because I literally just have space for my father. He said I'm being stubborn and callous, that now is the time to meet my sister, that he's attempted to introduce us in the past, which is true. He's bought me a plane ticket out there, but with 2 children and work, it isn't so easy to drop everything. Apparently, Hannah is sad the only direct family she has is my dad and stepmother. I said I want the week leading up to my wedding to A, be about the wedding, and B, catch up with my father, not turn it into a here's the sister I've never met. So I said maybe another time. My father said he won't come along without Hannah, and now my younger brother is calling me an a-hole. I told him he has no space to talk because the last time he visited Hannah, she was 6, so he's hardly family. Both him and my father think I'm being unreasonable. Not the a-hole. This kind of stressful meeting should have happened years ago if he was sincere about making it happen. During a wedding is the absolute wrong time, and your father is being a jerk. Sorry you feel that way, but this week is about our wedding, and if you don't feel you can share this with us, I'll understand. Don't let him guilt or blackmail you into this meeting right now. If my math is right, you are about 37-ish. Your wedding is not the time to meet and greet a stepsister who is 24 years younger than you. You are going to be busy, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. He got bored, left your mom, then went and started a family on his own, barely visits. His girlfriend, wife, is an a-hole, and he's the mad one? Attempted having you meet his daughter after 13 whole years? She's not your family, she's his daughter, and he's understandably upset because that's his daughter. But your wedding is no children and you don't have space, so he needs to drop it. You've told him you'll meet her another time. Also, it's not your fault his daughter has no family. This title is probably a little confusing, but let me explain. I, 18 male, have a half-sister, 14 female. We both have the same father, but different mothers. I was the result of a random hookup, and kinda left with my father. My sister's the result of my stepmother, who basically adopted me when she was married to my father when I was 3. My father ended up an alcoholic in my teenage years, and died when I was 14 due to an alcohol-induced stroke. My stepmother moved on obscenely quick, but I continued to live with her due to my age. She got remarried when I was 15 and had her daughter, who we'll call Emma, when I was 16. I love my mom, I really do. She's the only parental figure I have left. But it's like me and my sister became parasites to her after Emma was born. She's always singing her praises, posting about Emma, worrying about Emma. If she's spending time exclusively with us, Emma has to come up at some point. If we try to talk to her, she'll end up distracted with Emma. I get this is normal for parents with toddlers, especially since I'm her stepson. But she treats my sister the same way, and it seems excessive. It feels like every thought to her is Emma, and we're just there after. Most of the time, we aren't even invited to go out with them. My mom, her husband, and Emma. It's gotten to the point I find it hard to even like Emma. Recently, we were at a family dinner with my mom's parents. I've always felt awkward at these things because they've never really considered me their grandson. Stuff happened. She started praising the heavens of Emma, and she said to me, "Isn't she just amazing?" To which I replied, "I don't really care." This led to everyone getting awkward about me for the rest of the dinner, and when we got home, I was scolded by her husband for embarrassing them like that. And if I didn't care so much, then I could leave. I snapped back, saying that I really don't care about Emma, and I will leave if that's what you'd prefer. I didn't really mean it, but no one is talking to me now other than my sister. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It must honestly suck your mom is treating you like this. But have you ever told her? She's obviously wrapped up in the new toddler, so maybe you and your half-sister need to sit mom down for a calm talk and let her know how you guys feel. Not the a-hole. I get the sense that you don't really care how she treats you because you are her stepson, but you do care about how she treats your 14-year-old sister, and that needs to be addressed with both your mother and her husband. Soft, you're the a-hole. I understand the resentment, but it's not Emma's fault. You can try to talk to your mom about how this makes you and your sister feel. Be prepared though. It may not change anything. Just start saving and be prepared to move out when you can.